All righty, so we're gonna go ahead and start. As I mentioned, each week, California is a two-party state. So if you don't want to be recorded, we ask that you leave the meeting. So I'll share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Super. Let me drag this toolbar away. So today we're going to talk about overcalls. It's going to be really kind of an introduction to overcalls. And the first question is, what the heck does overcall mean? And here's my explanation. This is me and my mom and her parents back in 60 something. No, I guess my hair's long enough. I must have already been in college. This is probably 71 or 2. And my grandfather is saying, when I play bridge, I don't say I made a bid, I say I made a call. So for example, 1 spade is a call. So then I might say, okay, Grandpa, you opened 1 spade. As your opponent sitting in the next seat, I will overcall 2 diamonds. So I think that's where the term overcall comes from. It means you made a bid after somebody else made a bid from the other team. So, all righty, let's dive in. Where are we? We have our lovely 24-week curriculum. And today we're at overcalls. We have some other bidding things coming. And where are we going? On August 15th, we will have worked our way all the way through the cycle. And then we'll take a couple week break. And in September, we'll start it all over again. Okay. And if you've walked through this thing once or twice or 10 times and you want to do it again, I'd be absolutely thrilled. I only learn things by hearing them over and over and over again. And for those of you who were brand new, when we did card play, remember how the hands were all pre-bid and none of that made any sense? Well, now you'll have a platform for when those hands are pre-bid. You'll say, I think I kind of remember that. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll just keep going around and around and around until I exit this earth. So. Okay, question. Which one of these 3 statements is true? I'm going to show you 3 statements. Statement number 1. I don't know enough to play ping pong with other people. Is that humanly possible? I say no. This one's this one's even funnier. She shouldn't practice until she can play better. Okay, you tell me how she's going to play better, or ever. So obviously, I'm thinking bridge. Right? Sometimes I hear people say, oh, I'm not good enough to play with other human beings. I can only play with the robots. And if you ever have that thought, I ask you to think of these images and to remember that everybody here today can have fun playing bridge with other people in person or online. And if you haven't figured out which statement is true, it's the 3rd one. So. And is Susan here today?
I just signed in.
Great, because you are the highlight of my firecracker sectional.
Why is that, Phil?
Well, let me explain.
I'll
spend a moment talking about the idea of team of 4 events. Here's the idea of a team of 4 event. You have a partner and you sit at table 1 and you play against a pair that is your opponent. And there's another table, table 2, and your teammates who are a partnership sit in the other direction. And opponents 3 and 4 are part of the same team of 4. So opponents 1, 2, 3, 4 are one team. And you and your partner and your 2 good friends in green over here are the other team. And each table plays the same hands. So what might happen? Well, maybe at your table, you and your partner bid 4 spades and you make 5. So that's plus 450. And maybe at the other table, the opponents play 4 spades, but they only make 4. So from the perspective of your team, because your people were sitting the other direction, this is a negative score. But it's negative for 20 because there was one fewer trick. So your overall score for your team is plus 30 on that hand. Or maybe you guys play four spades and maybe you play four spades and make four for plus 420. And at the other table, the opponents are in four spades, but they go down one. So you and your partner scored plus 420 and your two teammates scored plus 50. So your team score is 470. It's really kind of a fun thing to do. Well, why did I mention this? Well, on Friday, Dana and I played in a team of four event. And at one point, we were sitting in these two seats and I was here and the opponent on this side was Susan. And the opponent on this side was Kathy Paul, who is one of the coaches we have here.
Right.
And their two teammates at the other table, I believe, had about 2 master points each. And we played 9 boards, so played 9 hands in this kind of a fashion, and they beat us. And that was the highlight of the weekend for me. Because it's bridge, right? I mean, it's just anything can happen. So it's a wonderful thing. So I digress.
And I got to meet Dana. That was the
Yeah, you
highlight.
got to meet Dana. Yeah. So
That-
today we're going to do an introduction to overcalls, including my guidance, which is disciplined, and some people are a little different. And we'll talk a bit about competitive bidding. So, competitive bidding means that, competitive bidding means that both pairs are bidding on the same hands, called a competitive auction. So let's see what an example of an overcall is. Suppose you're sitting here with this lovely hand. I count 13 high card points and 1 for length. I'm planning to open a spade. But the dealer, instead of passing, bids a heart. So what do? I bid a spade. And this is called an overcall. So that's the idea of what an overcall is. Okay. The bad guys, Deborah doesn't like that term. The opponents start the bidding and you decide to bid over them. So why do you do it? Well, one is, you want to get into the auction. If you have something to say to partner, you want to go ahead and express it. And some good things can happen. You will interfere with the opponent's conversation. After the opponent's open, you're unlikely to have a game your way, but maybe you can compete for a part score. And in terms of interfering with the opponent's conversation, well, don't you hate it when they interfere with your conversation?
Bill, what's a part score?
Oh, a part score is below game. Like 2 spades or 1 no trump or 3 clubs. So it's when the opponent's open, they've showed 12 points or more. So if you think about how much is left for your side, the chance of you making a game is a lot lower than if, say, the dealer made a pass. But maybe you can bid and they can bid and you can end up in 2 spades or something like that. And you get to interfere with the opponent's conversation so they can't just talk smoothly back and forth. And the third benefit of making an overcall is it's lead directing. What's the first thing that we like to do when we're on lead if partner has bid a suit?
Lead their suit.
We like to lead their suit. So if you bid, it may help partner know what to lead. So all these sorts of benefits of making an overcall. And there's a fourth benefit in a duplicate game. If you end up in a contract and you go down, you can actually end up with a good result. So, for example, if the opponents bid 2 spades and make 2, they get plus 110. But if you continue to 3 hearts and you go down 1, not vulnerable, they only get 50. I'd rather give up 50 than give up 110. So you get into these competitive bidding situations. Sometimes it's kind of like the old black and white drag race movies with the 2 people zooming their hot rods at each other at high speed, and kind of which one swerves off first. Do we swerve off after they bid 2 spades, or do we go ahead and bid 3 hearts? And then maybe they bid 3 spades, and now maybe they go down. So all sorts of fun stuff can happen in competitive auctions. So let's talk about overcalls a little more. Super important. An overcall promises a 5-card suit. So we go back to that situation we had before. You were all ready to open 1 spade, and then the dealer didn't pass. She went ahead and bid a heart, and so you bid a spade.
Does that mean a club and a diamond as well? 5 cards?
Yes, bingo. Perfect question. Perfect timing. And I probably should have changed the example to illustrate that. An overcall promises at least 5 cards in the suit you're bidding, no matter what it is: spades, hearts, clubs, or diamonds. And the reason for that is the opponents have already showed some strength. And so if they've got some strength, it's a little riskier for you to be bidding. And they've also taken away some of your bidding room potentially. So you don't have as much room for conversation. So if you're going to make an overcall, you want to have a 5-card suit or longer. And then partner can bid with kind of more confidence and understanding about your hand. And yes, if this had bid 1 diamond and then 2 clubs, that would have promised a 5-card club suit. So great question, Brock. Thank you. How are we doing so far? This okay?
Well, let's say we weren't even talking about overcalls, so that the opener does 1 heart, and you were going to say 1 spade anyway. And so I don't know if that's what an overcall is, or.
Yes, an overcall simply means that the opponents, instead of passing, they already made a bid. And now you're going to make a bid over their bid. And again, in my grandfather's terminology, he would say this 1 heart is a call. And so this hand is overcalling with 1 spade.
Bill, I have a question.
Yes.
On the 5 spades, can they be any 5 spades, or do they need to look like something else?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
It's best if they look pretty good, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So let me look at a few examples of overcalls and provide the start of some guidance. So the opponents or somebody makes an opening bid of 1 heart, and then the next player bids 1 spade. That is an overcall.
Mhm.
Or 1 club followed by 1 diamond, or 1 heart, or 1 spade. Any of those things would be overcalls. And these, in terms of terminology, these are called 1-level overcalls, or some people call them simple overcalls. This bid was at the 1 level, and this bid was at the 1 level. Generally, as I said before, an overcall promises at least 5 cards in a suit. And a 1-level overcall can be weaker than an opening bid. It can be a fair amount weaker than an opening bid.
Yeah.
It's maybe 8 or more high card points if you're overcalling at the 1 level. Ideally, as Deborah was alluding to, your suit is pretty good. It's 5 cards. It's ideal if it's like king, queen, and 3 others, something like that. It's ideal if it's a pretty good suit. And the reason is, you're jumping into the bidding. The other guys have already shown some strength. Another important example to look at. Oh, why is a good suit important? One of the biggest reasons is partner will probably lead it. And in addition, the opponents have showed some strength, and so you'd like to have a good suit. Sometimes the opponents might open, say, a spade, and you want to bid a diamond suit, and now you have to bid at the 2 level. People call this a 2-level overcall. So like 1 spade, 2 hearts, or 1 diamond, 2 clubs. If you have to go up to the 2 level to say your suit, it's called a 2-level overcall. So you're bidding at a higher level, right? So it's riskier. And my agreement with my partner is that to make a 2-level overcall, you should have opening strength or very close. So 2 very different situations, a 1-level overcall, your hand can be kind of cruddy. You have to have a 5-card suit. 2-level overcall, that's a little more risky now because you're at a higher level. And so it's good to promise opening strength or close.
What if you have 6 of them? Is that another extra strongness?
Yeah, it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing.
So it's only high card points, not length.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, you could count length. You know,
Yeah.
this once you get into the world of competitive bidding, a lot of the stuff we've talked about starts going out the window, and more of it is on gut and feel.
Bill, what does that last comment on the lower right mean?
I was just going to say that, and I forgot to say it earlier. If your hand is pretty weak, and we'll look at a bunch of examples of this. If your hand is pretty weak, like this person opens a heart and you're going to bid a spade, but you've only got 8 or 9 high card points, your suit should be really pretty good. But sometimes, as Deborah was alluding to earlier, you have a 5-card suit that doesn't look like much. Well, if the suit is weak, but your hand has some extras, then you can go ahead and make an overcall. And we'll look at some specific examples.
Excuse
that
me,
Answer your
Phil.
question, Lee?
Yes.
Yep. Catherine?
Lee, now a 1 no trump overcall is still.
We're not going to
not
talk
there.
about 1 no trump overcalls today, just suit overcalls. But yeah.
Bill, I thought if you had 6 in a suit in a major, and if you're the first bidder, you can do 2 of like 2
Yes.
hearts and 2
Yes,
spades.
and if
And
we
you have
go
about
back,
10 points, right?
right, if we go back to the kind of curriculum schedule.
Yeah.
Preempts are in 2 or 3 weeks. So we won't talk about them today.
Oh, okay.
But yes. And sorry, Catherine, if I spoke too quickly. If the person on the right bids a spade and I bid a no trump, the short story is I'm basically showing that I had a 1 no trump bid to begin with.
Okay.
But we won't spend time on that today. So different people have different styles of overcall. I'm very disciplined. 8 or more high card points at the 1 level and opening strength or close if I have to go to the 2 level. Some people are more aggressive. We had the following thing happen over the weekend. My partner opened, the person on the right overcalled, I bid, the person on the left raised their suit, or she bid her own suit, and it went pass, pass, pass. My partner made an opening lead, dummy came down, and the exact quote from declarer was, "You overcalled with that?" So it's important to have agreement with your partner. And my style is fairly disciplined. He had like 6 high card points, I think. So let's look at a couple examples. There's a 1 heart opener and you're holding this hand. So I count 8 high card points and 1 for length. And I've got a pretty nice looking spade suit. I'll bid a spade. For me, that's an absolute minimum. Take away the queen of diamonds and I'll pass. turn the queen of spades into a small spade, and I'll pass. Let's look at another one. One heart, and I just swapped the ace down to be in the club suit. So it's got the same number of high card points and 1 8 and 1 for length. Am I going to bid 1 spade with this hand?
No.
No, I'm not.
I
Some
would.
would. But
I
I
would.
don't. And later on, we'll see like the scales of justice. And what the scales of justice will be saying is you have to balance the strength of your hand with the strength of your suit. So this is the one on the left to me is an absolute minimum, but the suit looks nice. And the one on the middle has the same strength, but the suit is really cruddy. So I would pass. Why? Because partner is gonna, when she sees my hand come down as dummy, she's gonna say, you overcalled with that, just like the person did over the weekend. Now let's change the hand a little bit more. I gave it another ace. Okay, so it's the same spade suit as in the middle. It's the same club suit, but now we've got the ace of diamonds. So now we have 4, 8, 10, 12, and 1 for length. Now I'm going to bid a spade. It's a pretty cruddy suit, but it's a pretty good hand. And if I don't say something now, I'll probably never get a chance to say anything. Lee, you had a question?
No.
Oh, okay. So any questions or comments about any of this?
I have one question, Phil. Again,
Sure.
I'm sorry. Are you looking at the spades and thinking 2 of the top 3, 3 of the top 5, or just a gut feeling?
I do not look at 2 of the top 3, 3 of the top 5.
Okay.
In typical beginner class, they're going to say, don't bid, don't overcall unless you have 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5. Well,
Okay.
I think for a beginner, it's not bad guidance, because if you end up declaring in a suit where you and your partner have 7 of them and you've only got the queen and missing all the other ones, you have a freaking heart attack, right? But once you've gone down 6, a couple of times, you don't worry about that.
I have a question, Phil, but
Yeah.
you may not have covered this, and I don't know that from your previous classes. So just tell me, if you have a situation like this last one where there's, opening amounts, you don't really like your 5-card suit, could you double?
Great question. Next week, we will talk about takeout doubles.
Oh, okay. So we haven't got to them yet. Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
No
next
problem.
week we'll talk about takeout doubles. And here's what Catherine's getting at is, what if you moved one of these spades down to be a club and one of these hearts to be a diamond? It's like you've got 14 high card points or whatever, or 12 high card points, whatever it was. And you'd really like to get in the bidding, but you don't have a 5-card suit. And so next week, we're going to talk about a really cool way to get into the bidding. So from my style perspective, if your hand is lousy, your suit should be pretty good, like this one on the left.
Okay.
If your hand is stronger, then the suit can be worse, like the one on the right. It's the scales of justice balancing back and forth. We good with this slide?
Yeah.
Okay. More examples. 1 heart. What do you guys think? What should we do?
1 spade.
1 spade.
One
Yeah.
spade.
Yeah, that's a beautiful 1 spade bid. Among other things, if partner ends up on lead, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10 when partner leads a spade?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 10.
Buzzed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's switch the spades and the clubs. Okay. I made it so the club suit down here looks like the spade suit did here. And the spade suit looks like the club suit did. So it's the same number of high card points, same quality suit.
But you are not at you're at the 2 level.
But now you'd have to,
You have to go
bid at
to
the
2
level.
Yeah.
And for me and my partner, that promises an opening hand or very close. And this is not an opening hand, nor is it close. So I would pass. Some people would bid 2 clubs. I would pass. Now let's add some high card points. So it's the same shape as this hand. But now we've got the ace of spades. Now we have 4, 8, 10, 13, and 1 for length is 14. Now the hand is strong enough to overcall 2 clubs, in my view. And
you wouldn't do a no trump with that?
no, I won't do a no trump. What suit have they bid?
Hearts,
What suit are they likely to lead?
hearts.
What's going to happen to my no trump contract?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great question. Love the questions. These talks are only as good as the questions. So why is style agreement so important? And you got a big hint from the woman on the weekend who said, you overcalled with that. We got a top score on the board. They got a bottom score on the board. My partner once overcalled with this hand. It's pretty close to this one, but it just ain't the same, right? It just ain't the same. And a lot of times you can make that bid and get away with it. As it happened, I had a nice hand. I had 15 high card points. I assumed she was following kind of our usual standards, and I competed too high in the auction, and we got a lousy score. So this is why, if you're playing duplicate in particular, it's very important to have a style and have an agreement and stick to it. And, you know, if it goes a heart and you pass with this hand, you know, maybe the next person passes and partner bids a spade. And then you get a chance to show your spade support. Pass is a remarkably important bid. All right, so
When you're overcalling, like with 8 points,
Yep.
you know, are you expecting to go to game
no,
eventually or a partial score and kind of
I'm-
split the other team?
I'm not expecting to end up in game. You know, maybe I overcall with 8 points, partner has a huge hand, we end up in game. But I'm not expecting to end up in game. I'm hoping to compete.
Okay,
And so compete means, you know, maybe I get the contract at 2 spades and we make it.
yeah.
Or maybe because I bid 2 spades, they were going to stop in 2 hearts and I bid 2 spades, 2 hearts was going to make. They bid 3 hearts and they go down 1. And I'm thrilled. So this picture to me kind of captures the whole idea of bidding in competition. You know, the 2 sides are kind of wrestling with each other.
Now, Phil, before
Yes.
you move ahead, if you could go back one, because I wanted to address, someone said, you know, why wouldn't they bid 1 no trump? And you talked about the 2 hearts and, you know,
No,
they'd go
no.
down on that. But I wouldn't bid 1 no trump because there's not 15 to 17. Don't you have to have
Yeah,
15
that-
to 17?
That's correct. We're not going to talk about 1 no trump overcalls in this
Okay.
curriculum.
Okay.
The
but-
short statement is if you make a 1 no trump overcall, you're promising, for me, 15 to 18, and that you've got the opponent's suit well stopped.
Yeah.
Right. that,
King
of
jack
course.
small or something like that.
Okay, but
To
you
me,
do
I had
think-
remembered that as a weak bid, I ain't got your hearts. What else can you give me?
But
But it's not your partner here, it's
if
the
it's
opponent.
not your partner,
Yeah.
it's the opponents who made the bid.
Right.
Right, the
I'm thinking
opponents
that's your
bid a
partner
heart.
making the bid.
No,
Yeah,
that's why you have to have.
This is the opponent and then this is you. Maybe I should put
That's-
opponent you.
That's what happens when I come in late, Phil, sorry.
So
Okay,
sorry, just
so-
following up on that, Phil, even though you're not going to talk about it,
Yep.
if you did a 1 no trump overcall, you said it promises 15 to 18 high card points and what?
And a stopper in their suit.
Okay,
So,
15 to 18 instead of 17.
oh, it's just kind of the general agreement. They've taken away some space and you have less, it's harder to describe your hand, so you make the window a little wider. We can talk about it someday, maybe during one of our weeks off. So.
Okay.
So bidding in competition, there's about 3 different situations. Partner, say, makes an opening bid, and then the next person makes an overcall. Now you're in what's called a competitive situation, competitive auction. Or maybe there's an opening bid and your partner makes an overcall and the next person passes. And you might want to bid or you might not want to bid. And the third situation is opponent makes an opening bid, partner makes an overcall, but instead of passing, this person bids. And so you can see that these are all kind of different. They're subtly different, right?
Yep.
Case 1 is partner made an opening bid. We've got some nice methods for responding to that opening bid, but then the opponent speaks. And what the heck do we do? And these other situations are when your partner has made an overcall and you have to decide whether to continue bidding or whether to pass. So
Hold on. Oh, Phil, okay. So just question, maybe it's not even overcall. Can you overcall in seat 2, 3, or 4?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
not seat 3.
I mean,
Like
1, 2, sorry, seat 1, 2, or seat
Or 4.
3 or 4, 2, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could go opening bid, pass, and then you make a bid over here.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even
Excellent point.
pass. Well, then it's not an overcall. Okay,
Right.
never mind. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
But yeah, if it goes opening bid, pass,
It's
and
still
you're
a-
sitting over here, you know something really important. You know the person down here's got a pile of junk.
Right. Okay.
So, but we won't talk about that. So let's look at the first one of those situations. So partner makes an opening bid and the right-hand opponent makes an overcall. So your partner across from you makes an opening bid and then this person on the right bids. If you have an easy bid to make, pretty much ignore it. Let's look at some examples. Partner opens a club. What are you planning to do after partner opens a club?
Bit of heart.
You're going to bid a heart,
6, 7, 8,
right?
10.
You got at least 6 points. You got a lovely 4-card heart suit. As soon as partner bids a club, you're thinking, I'm going to bid a heart.
Hmm.
And then this guy bids a diamond. Well, go ahead and bid a heart.
Bid.
Yeah, just go ahead and bid a heart. You're not promising anything magical.
Okay.
Partner opens a club and you have this hand. What are you planning to do? If the bad guy passes, what are you going to bid?
Diamond?
A diamond. You got enough points to respond. You got a 4-card diamond suit. So you're planning to bid a diamond. But then this guy bids a diamond.
Uh-huh.
What anything you can think of that would be a good bid to describe your hand?
Double.
It's
No.
balanced. Basically, you could say 1 no trump.
1 no trump, yeah.
Yeah, 1 no trump. 1 no trump's a beautiful bid. It would promise about 6 to 10 high card points. It would promise a diamond stopper. And looking at the example on the left, if you had had a heart suit or a spade suit, you would have bid it, right? So this, one of the magical things about bridge is, we only have 15 words in our language. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades, no trump, pass, double, redouble. That's our whole language, right?
Okay.
And when we say 1 no trump, look at all the information we're giving. 6 to 10 high card points, diamonds stopped, don't have 4 hearts, don't have 4 spades. I mean, is that freaking amazing or what?
Okay, I have a question. If,
Yeah.
right, if that person on our right did not bid, that 6 to 10 points would say no 4-card major and a balanced hand. Now,
Yep.
this with this interceding person saying a diamond, if we now bid a no trump, it has to mean that we have a stopper in diamonds.
For me,
Oh,
because
wow.
I don't want to, I mean, there might be times I would lie. Sometimes we make the bid that's the smallest lie, right? But he's promising a 5-card diamond suit, right? I'm not going to feel really good about declaring no trump when they start out by taking 5 or 6 diamond tricks. I want to be able to stop them from taking diamond tricks. But the main message here is if you have, if there was a bid you were going to make that or could make that's pretty easy and normal and natural, pretty much ignore what they said. Just go ahead and do it. We'll look at another example here.
But can I ask you something first, Phil? Why wouldn't you have bid? Why wouldn't you have bid 2 clubs?
On which one?
The second one there.
The second one, a partner might very well have only a 4-card club suit,
Oh,
and we don't really want to end up in a 4-3 fit.
got it. Okay.
But aren't you supposed to let your partner know you support first?
Yes, so the phrase is support with support, but partner has not promised 5 clubs, right?
3.
Partner could have 4 or potentially 3.
Could be
This, I think, Kaya, I think this example will speak to your topic. So partner has opened a heart. What are you planning to bid? I count 7 high card points,
7.
7 high card points and 3 card support. I'm going to bid 2 hearts, right?
Oh, okay.
And then this, I'm planning to bid 2 hearts, and then this pesky person bids a spade. What do I do?
2 hearts.
You bid 2 hearts. You just bid 2 hearts. If there's an easy, normal, low-level bid you can make, just kind of ignore what they said. And partner will be able to figure out what you got.
Can I just, the woman that was asking, I forgot her name, why don't we bid 2 clubs? Why didn't this you bid 2 clubs? That would be promising 5 clubs, I thought.
Yeah,
to your partner,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
No.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, 6 to 10 points and 5 clubs.
Yeah, the short story is we hate playing in a minor.
Yeah.
So most of my example hands will not have us wanting to raise partner's minor suit. But it's a good question. So let's look at some other situations where partner overcall opens and right hand opponent overcalls. If you're going to be forced to go to the 2 level to bid a new suit, you should have a 5 and dime hand, a 5-card suit, and 10 or more points. Ooh, this should say high card points. So here's an example. Partner opens a heart. What are we planning to do? Bid 2 diamonds.
2 diamonds,
right? In standard American, that promises 10 or more high card points and a diamond suit, not even 5-card diamond suit. And then this person bids a spade. We can go ahead and bid 2 diamonds. And we're telling partner we have at least 5 in the suit and we have at least 10 high card points.
I thought we had to have opening to over. Oh, okay. This is just in response. I see.
Yes, exactly. And it's just like a 1 no trump opener versus a 1 no trump response are totally different creatures.
Right. Okay.
The overcall here is a totally different situation than the bid you make here as the responder to partner. And for most of this stuff, all you have to do is follow your gut. I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff on all these slides, but a lot of it is just following your gut. Partner bids a spade. What are you planning to do?
One no trump.
One no
One no
trump.
trump. You have no suit you can bid at the one level, and you've got 69 high card points. And then this person over here bids 2 diamonds.
Pass.
Now what do?
Pass.
Yeah.
We pass. We do not satisfy these criteria. And you'll see a lot of people in this situation go ahead and bid 2 hearts. And then we saw a lovely example a few weeks ago where it led to these people being in 3 no trump down 4. Once the bad guy is presumably showing opening strength, you got to be a little more careful. Partner will get another chance to bid. Maybe partner can rebid her spades. Maybe partner will show a 4-card heart suit. There's a lot of good things that could happen, but if you overbid here, a lot of bad things can happen.
Right. Don't have a stopper in diamonds either.
So partner opens a diamond. What are we planning to do?
Heart.
Bid a heart. And you notice I've shown partners bid and then asked, what are you planning to do?
Yep.
I've observed the following. Partner makes an opening bid and you, whoever you is, sit there and wait.
Yeah.
And then the next person bids. And then you start to think. It's way easier if you start to think right away. So partner bids a diamond and you think, great, I'm going to bid a heart. And then this person says 2 clubs. And you go, oh, darn it. I can't say a heart anymore. In fact, I don't have 10 high card points. I can't really say anything.
Yep. Pass.
And you pass.
Pass.
But if you're thinking about it ahead of time, it turns out it's way easier. I'd played duplicate for 10 years when I finally realized that if I started to think sooner, it made my life easier. So, and you'll notice 2 of these bids are passes. I bought a book called The Power of the Pass. And it's a wonderful book. And I particularly love the subtitle.
We too.
Is someone holding a gun to your head? You don't need to bid here. Partner's going to get another chance. You don't need to bid here. Partner, if partner rebids 2 spades, now you know partner has 6 spades. If partner bids 2 hearts, now you know you have a heart fit. So waiting is often a really good thing. Let's look at some more fun things. So partner overcalls. You don't have to bid. Partner's a big girl. She knows what she's doing. If you can, as mentioned before, support with support. 3 cards, 6 support points, something like that. Let's look at an example. You're sitting here 4, 6, 8, 9 high card points. Dealer bids a heart. You sag because you were hoping partner would open 2 no trump. Partner bids a spade. What are you thinking?
He's got 5 spades and 8 points.
He's got 5 spades, at least 5 spades and 8 points. We can compete in spades, right? We've got a bid. This bad guy bids 2 hearts.
2 spades.
2 spades.
Yeah, 2
Spades.
spades.
And again, there's not so much memorizing and all that kind of stuff. It's once there's a competitive auction, it's kind of more your gut and listening to your partner and listening to the opponents. So dealer bid a heart. 12 or more points, 5 hearts. Partner bid a spade, they got 5 spades. This person bid 2 hearts. That's a fairly weak bid,
Yeah, 6.
right? If they had a stronger hand, maybe they would have jumped. So you actually know at this point, the bad guys probably don't have really huge hand, and you're eager to bid your 2 spades. What's the magic thing about the spade suit? It's the highest ranking suit. If they want to bid over you, they got to go to the 3 level. It's a wonderful thing.
I have
And
a question.
yes,
When you said, I thought you said that when the partner said 1 spade, I thought they're opening there, so they need an opening hand, right?
at the 1 level, they might be weaker than that.
Oh,
If
so
it had been,
they can respond to someone at that level and be weaker, but if they are the first ones, then they have to have an
right,
opening hand.
what
Okay.
1 heart, 1 spade is
Right.
really different than 1 spade, 2 hearts.
Mm,
They have to be stronger to go to the 2 level.
okay.
And you could bid a new suit or you could bid no trump, but, and I won't go through the details on this. The idea is you got to remember that the bad guys have shown some strength. So you want to be a little careful. So let's look at bidding in competition. And this is a pretty heavy duty slide, as I recall. So opening bid by your partner, and then there's an overcall. If you can, just ignore the overcall. Raise partner's suit if you can. Bid 1 no trump. We looked at this example. Bid 1 no trump with 6 to 10 and their suit stopped. Bid your own suit, but you need 10 or more high card points if you have to go up to the 2 level. So this is going to be your summary slide in many ways. Opening bid, overcall, pass. Okay, sounds like this person doesn't have a fit and or they're very weak. So partner's a big girl. If you've got a weak hand, just pass. See what happens. If you can raise partner's suit, that's wonderful. You can bid your own suit if you want, but it ought to be a decent suit. And the thing that happens more than anything else is it goes a heart, a spade, pass, and you've got a lousy hand, but a singleton spade. And you panic. And you start thinking, oh my God, partner's going to have to play in a 5-1 fit. I'll bid my lousy club suit with my lousy hand. And all of a sudden, you're just in a pile of trouble. Don't rescue partner. Partner's a big girl. Partner made an overcall because her hand warranted it. If you've got a cruddy hand, try to get out low. Don't try to rescue partner. That's really important guidance in competitive bidding. And finally, opening bid, overcall, and then this person speaks. Ugh. It's the same as this situation. But it's really okay to raise partner just to be trouble. And so partner can know whether she can compete.
What about stuff in her suit?
Well, if partners say overcalled in hearts and you've got 3 or 4 hearts and you've got, more than a nothing hand, it's really important to tell her that you've got a fit. It'll be very helpful to her in her future bidding, even if
But if you only had 1 or 2 hearts, you wouldn't.
No, if you have 1 or 2 hearts, you are thrilled that this person bid because you can just pass. Competitive bidding it's hard. And it's fun.
So you're not obligated to respond anymore to your partner's bid if you have the points, if there's another bid in between. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's good to know.
If partner made an overcall It's totally different than if partner made an opening bid.
Okay.
And if partner made an overcall and this person passed, you're under no obligation to bid. This person, the opponent may bid again. So these are, this is a slide to look at again in the future. I do want to remind you of the context. If dealer passes, it's one thing. You're going to bid a heart. You know the dealer doesn't have 12 points. So you're hoping to end up in a game. You're hoping to be the declarer. Case 2. Dealer bids a spade and you've got the same hand. What's the context? Well, now you know the dealer's got 12 points or more.
And
It's
5
hugely
spades.
different.
5 spades.
And five spades. Yep. Hugely different situation. You're likely to be on defense because spades are the boss suit. Game your way is unlikely. I mean, it's possible, but this guy's shown 12 points. If you declare, they may have enough strength to cause problems. And they've already started a bidding conversation. It's a completely different situation than over here. Are you going to bid 2 hearts with this hand? Absolutely. 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But you got to remember the context. So here's the 10% to remember. Why do we overcall? We want to get in the auction. We want to interfere with the opponents, and it's lead directing for partner. To overcall in a suit, you should have at least 5 cards. At the 1 level, it can be pretty light, but you have to balance your high card points and your suit quality. If your suit is 5 cards to the 9, you better have a lot of strength somewhere else in the hand. But if your hand is one of those that we looked at, that's like, 5 spades, ace, king, and a side queen, it's perfectly fine to overcall. And if you're forced to the 2 level, you really want to have opening strength or close, or else you end up like my partner and I did on that hand that I described. And support partner if you can. And later, to the questions asked earlier, after we have more foundation, we'll talk about 1-no trump overcalls, which are just like a 1-no trump opener, but you have to have their suit stopped. And we'll talk about weak jump overcalls that are just like weak 2 preempts. So Catherine, I think those were a couple of the questions you and somebody else brought up. All righty, so we're going to stretch. And then I think we'll go to breakout rooms. And if my thought was, let's play 4 hands sitting 4 at a table. That can get a little noisy and chaotic. So some coaches may prefer